Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. It's your boy, brother guy, back again. And we are doing a nice recap or breakdown of some of the updates of One Championship in terms of all the news that's come out. Well, I say all, but I mean like the fun stuff. We'll talk about the fun stuff today. You'll see it on the ticker tape at the bottom, and I'll go nice and slowly through some of the stories I thought would be nice to talk about for this week. Obviously, there's also some UFC updates, which we'll probably talk about tomorrow when we do the preview for the fight card for UFC this weekend. But this episode is purely dedicated to fighting with friends. So I'm just getting like feedback in my audio. There we go. Yeah, dedicating this all the way to fighting. Excuse me, with One Championships news. So let's do it. There is no top of the card for this week. So we will just go through the first news segment. So let's start with that one. Okay. So on screen, we have an update from Jonathan Ghazali posted on, well, it's not Tetsuya's account. He just reshared what was posted on ESR's account, ESR0128 on X. And it looks like he's gained quite a bit of traction or frustration from the fan base. I mean, Tetsuya pretty much just says here, I've seen enough. Book him against Iman Ghazali. So people want to see this kid get hurt. People want to see Jojo Ghazali get beaten up. And it's quite fun. It's quite interesting to see this. I'm not gonna lie, it is quite interesting because um, he obviously referred to himself in the past as the Conor McGregor of One Championship, and personally, I can understand why. I can see why there's hatred towards this because, yeah, again, personally, Conor McGregor, in my opinion, didn't really do good for combat sports other than the business standpoint of it. You know what I mean? Like he brought in a bunch of new eyes to the sport that I don't think would have been there if he wasn't in the sport. That's the truth. That's the biggest compliment I'll give him. Is he changed the growth and trajectory of combat sports evidently, like forever, like indefinitely. You know, I don't think we would be at this stage of combat sports if it wasn't for him in terms of having such a big audience, you know, a wider audience outside of, let's say, combat sports enthusiasts like myself or you guys out there. And I think a large portion of One Championship or the large overall fan base of One Championship is similar. I can see it. I see it. That's why I'm such a big fan of the organization because of what they stand for in terms of the fan base around it is like a pure love for combat sports. Like the fan bases of One Championship don't want to see shenanigans or antiques or characters that are saying outlandish things or behaving in a manner that's a little bit disrespectful to combat sports in general. And then you get the UFC, which is the complete opposite to that. The UFC is like they put on good fights, but they also have, for lack of a better term, they've got this WWE esque energy around it where everyone behaves like they're on a telenovela, and we have to say crazy things on the microphone because whether it's true or not true, what it does do, it amplifies the business. You know, it brings in a lot more tickets, it sells a lot faster, it brings in a lot of fans to the sport. And I think that's what Jojo is trying to do for One Championship because he feels like there's no one like that in the organization. And to a degree, he's correct. To a degree, Jojo is on the money there. I do think that as much as I don't like it, I do think that the organization can do with a character like Conor McGregor. To especially when you want to, especially when you are the global stage of Thai fighting, right? Then you're gonna need a character like that. That being said, you also got people like Rodtang, for example, and Superlek who aren't anything like that, but are global stars because they just fight really well. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's get to the post. This is what was posted on Jonathan Ghazali's X account. You can see it on screen. I'll read through it just a little bit. Jonathan Ghazali, mad. This kid is mad for saying what he said, but I respect him at the same time for doing what he's doing. So this is Jojo Ghazali on this was posted on his Instagram account. He said to the entire combat sports community in Malaysia, just want to say you're welcome. To all fighters who are able to make money fighting in Malaysia, you're welcome. To all the promoters who are making money promoting combat sports, you're welcome. I am the pioneer of not only Malaysian Muay Thai, but combat sports in general. I need to be shown more gratitude. If it wasn't for my genius marketing and my crazy fighting style, Muay Thai in Malaysia would would be nowhere near close to now. But before you start condemning me or condemning me, I want to say thank you to the fans, the supporters I've had before anything, because without you guys, Muay Thai would also not be anywhere near it is now. Um, Sorry, the English is a little bit backwards for me, but it's a team effort. But yeah, show some respect, alhamdulillah. So yeah, he's 19 years old or 18 years old, something like that. Very young in the game. Got a contract early. Went on a good win streak and then started fighting opponents at a little bit more high level with the more experience. And yeah, they beat him. If you think about it, when he fought against Stupinan, now he doesn't have more experience than Jojo, but because they're the same age, but he fought better. He has, in my opinion, a wide array of skills, and he beat Jojo. And then Jojo fought against Diego Paez, who's also a very experienced athlete, multiple champion outside of Thailand. And when Jojo fought him, Jojo lost that fight as well. Really close fight, by the way, but he lost. And then he went on to fight against Al Jamadi, and he KO'd Al Jamadi. But let's also be quite frank. I think anybody can KO Al Jamadi in one championship, if it's been real. Um, that guy is pretty much a layup for anyone. That's just the reality of it. And Jojo is quite a big flyweight in comparison to Al Jamadi, who I think isn't really a natural flyweight. He's quite a short dude, so he doesn't really make that size easily. Jojo he's a fold out dude. He might even be bantamweight by the time he's 22 years old. So we'll see how that goes. But I can also understand why this kind of post is going to generate a lot of sort of hate speech towards him, or aggression from the fan bases towards him, right? Because it does sound a little bit deluded. To a degree, it does. Not like Jojo has, you know what I mean? He hasn't fought for any title yet. He hasn't fought for a top five contendership yet. He hasn't really cracked the top 10 even. You know what I mean? So I can understand why a lot of fan base that's going against him, because he's talking out of his arse a little bit. Um, and also he's got all these, he's got Superbon, he's got Nong-O, he's got all these legends that's coaching him and keeping his head in the game. But then he speaks like this, and if you compare it to the people that's coaching him, like Superbon and Nong-O and those guys, they've also got a little bit of a spiteful side to them, but they don't really carry themselves with it. You know what I mean? They only really show that side to them when it's necessary. Like if their opponent says something crazy, they might say something crazy back and be like, "Yeah, stop attacking me." Like if you think about the Shingiz, Alazov, and Superbon, back and forth between the two of them, right? Superbon was being mean, but like as mean as a nice guy would be. It's like not really something you'd go. He's saying something that could get him in trouble. Nothing controversial. And the same thing can be said about Nong-O as well. So for Jojo Ghazali, the only way that for me that this works out in his favor is that if he keeps winning. And like Conor McGregor, what he did was and Ilia Topuria, for example, they shoot their shot, they say what they're gonna do, and they do it. And that's what people are buying into the narrative. With Jojo Ghazali, I think what's going against him is that he's saying a lot of stuff, calling out a lot of things, and then puts on like underwhelming performances. He beats up a lot of like has-beens, retired guys, old fighters, people that are a lot smaller than him in terms of weight. And then also on top of that is what's going against him is that there are other fighters that are the same age as him that are exploding in one championship. That's taking out names, going for title shots. You got Ortikov, who's in the same weight class as him. You've got Akif Guluzada, same weight class as him. Both guys are the same age as him, or Ortikov's a little bit older than him. But I mean, Akif's also 19 years old, and you see how they fight, and you're like, you know what I mean? Like they look a lot better, crazier win streaks, beating up bigger guys, bigger legends, and on top of it, they also calling their shot without having to be as insufferable as Jojo Ghazali. Even though I would go as far as to say that Akif Guluzada is a little bit like hard to get behind because of his cockiness, but if you keep winning fights in fashion the way that he is, then who gives a fuck if he's cocky? But you got Jojo Ghazali that's saying stuff that to the outside looking in, it looks a little bit delusional, because it's like he's saying stuff and it's like, but that's not what's happening. You know what I mean? So where you getting this idea from? He's talking about promoters saying you're welcome. Which promoters? Last I checked, One Championship is not the biggest promotion in the world. As much as I love watching One Championship, they're not UFC. And as much as I think UFC is going a little bit like stale bread at the moment, they're still the biggest combat sports organization in the world, next to next to next to boxing. You know what I mean? So fuck it, even WWE, which is basically acting, are bigger than one championship. So RWS is bigger than one championship. So yeah, I just think that he needs to really like rethink about how he phrases this. I feel like if he's gonna continue to do this, then he needs to be prepared to be the heel, the bad guy of the organization. He needs to be prepared to be that guy. Then he's gonna have to for the rest of his life, as long as he's gonna keep fighting, he's gonna have to be this character. Because otherwise people are gonna see it as like it's cracked glass. You know what I mean? Like it's not real. They're gonna be like, this is a facade. They're not gonna buy into his character. It's Conor McGregor, whether he was acting or not, people bought into it because dude made it seem like it was real. He did things to make people believe in him, believe in this character. Whether it was doing things outside of the octagon, doing things that are questionable to his character, it didn't matter. What it did do is it fulfilled the character that he was portraying, that he was holding up. Another example would be what's this welterweight in the UFC that I can't get to his name now. But anyway, another guy that isn't really like that in reality. That's not who he really is. But the UFC told him, if you don't do something different and start winning, and we're probably gonna get rid of you. Kobe Covington, there we go. And so what he did was he's like, I'm just gonna become this. I'm gonna become the bad guy. I'm gonna become the new heel. I'm gonna say stuff. I'm gonna say provocative things. I'm gonna do provocative things. I'm gonna be outlandish. And what's gonna do is people are gonna tune in. And what the UFC did was they marketed that and they sold it, and then people bought it. So for Jojo Gonzalez, if he wants to be this character, he needs to be prepared to be this character. You can't be this character and then still choose to be a good boy on the other side, because then what it's going to do is it's going to divide the fan base, and people are going to go, well, is this really who he is, or is this just for the cameras? You know what I mean? And on top of it, he also has to keep winning and winning against fighters that are also growing, not winning against fighters that are over 37 years old. They're a lot smaller than him. They've had their time. You know what I mean? So yeah, Jojo, I'm on the fence with this. As much as I also feel like, fuck it, let's put him up against someone. Because look at the comments. People are like, Alif and Ghazali not even close. I think I meant Akif. Everybody wants to see him lose. Everybody wants to see him lose now because of this. They want to see him go up against big guys and see him lose. So, in my opinion, he's doing something that's working. Whether we like it or not, people are talking about it. So it's actually working out in his favor, regardless. At the end of the day, I stick to what I say. He needs to then go full heel. That's how it's gonna work. If this is what he's gonna do online, if this is the media, if this is the presence that he's creating for himself online, then go all in with it. Go all in. Don't pull back. Don't pull any punches. Just go all in. That's my opinion about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Because realistically, one championship are lacking. I won't say big personalities, but they are kind of lacking um, controversial figures in a way that isn't illegal, but like it's just teetering on that line of, oh, he might get in trouble, but he's not really going to get in trouble. And Jojo can be that guy, but he just needs to go full swing. He just needs to go all in. He needs to commit all the way. That's what I think about it. Because there'll be people that's gonna like that. When was it? Which fight did we watch? Even though it was anticlimactic for the ending, when we saw Nabila Nan versus Ilyas Anahachi, right? But there was beef there. They had beef with each other. Their face-offs were ugly. And pardon me, as much as people think that might be disrespectful in combat sports, you fighting under a promotion that goes onto TV, right? People want to be entertained. So especially when you're looking to crack into a global market, not just in Thailand. People that added some spice, it added some spice to the fight, and then people wanted to tune in to watch the fight because of that. Instead of just a general face off, and then we go away like respectful each other. Like I like that, but at the same time, if you want to reach a wider market, you're gonna have to introduce some characters like that kind of make that. Who was it? The Monkey God, another guy who did that a lot in his face offs, and made people to tune in for the fight. So yeah, I think Jojo, he should just go all in on this character and to work for him. But then he also has to keep winning for it to work. But anyway, Let me know in the comments what you guys think about Jojo Ghazali and his shenanigans. Should he be the new heel for one championship, or should he just let it go and stick to being the good kid out of Malaysia? Let me know in the comments. Okay, now next story. Sticking with some superstars in the conversations and young lads in one championship. This next story was quite interesting because it involved Rodtang and the new top five contenders of Aslamjon Ortikov and Akif Guluzada. So Rodtang posted on his Facebook page where he mentioned that he would be able to beat. Let me see if I can bring it up here. Yeah, there we go. He says, this is Rodtang's quote via Lupini ex Muay Thai 7 Media. This is what he said. I'm not that good, this is in quotations, but I can fight anyone. I can fight both guys at the same time. Boss Chowdhury, please just give me a big purse and I'll fight. Now, whether he was joking about this or not, is quite funny, but it's obviously not going to happen. It's not a deal. But Aslamjon Ortikov took quite a bit of respect to this, right? This is what he said was, there was respect. Now you are nobody to me. This is posted on Aslamjon Ortikov's story. 2 to 1, you watch too many movies. He also said that, further continuation of that, he also said that if he respected Rodtang so much, and I lost quite a bit of respect for him. And if he finds that if that was a joke, then this is also a joke. That's what he said. At the end of the day, Aslamjon Ortikov is doing the right things to get the shot, right? When he got his contract, the first thing he said was, I'm ready to fight against the top guys. Maybe not Rodtang. He said that, maybe not Rodtang. But he also said, maybe not Rodtang right now. He also said maybe Rodtang a little bit later in his career. But then he called out Kong Torani, and he got that fight, and he beat Kong Torani, which I still feel like it was a questionable win for him, like in terms of how the fight played out. There was knockdowns that weren't counted for Kong Torani. There was rounds that Aslamjon lost. So I just think that there was a questionable win, but still a top talented fighter. Akif Guluzada, exactly the same. Even though he beat Chao Cia is a very small flyweight, not to make any excuses. Akif Guluzada is quite a big flyweight. I think he can make. I think he fights at bantamweight on fight night. He might be at least 145, approaching 150 even when he fights on fight night in the flyweight division. He's a big dude. But realistically, I think right now both of them won't beat Rodtang. At the same time, yeah, they will. But I think one on one, I don't think Ortikov or Akif can beat Rodtang right now. I think maybe when Rodtang hits like 30 years old, which will be in 2 years' time, perhaps there'll be a bit more of a competitive fight if Rodtang is still around. But at this stage in his career, Rodtang is only chasing down big bag fights, right? These big money fights. So I think Ortikov and Akif should fight each other first, in my opinion. And then the winner will get Rodtang for the title, because I think Rodtang's going to beat Nong-O. And then the loser can get Nong-O. There you go. Then both of you guys are fighting legends. And if you both get through that, then yeah, you came out. Then there we go. No more moving the goalpost. Then you guys are truly of the elite fighters. But I just think right now, Ortikov and Akif is still very young. I feel like they're not actually on that level just yet. Yes, they're skillful, but both of them have shown me that they're not quite there. I mean, Ortikov, he knocked down Kong Torani, but then got backed up in round 2, got knocked down in round 3, and then didn't count it. So he arguably lost 2 rounds. Then Akif Guluzada, he knocked down Chao Cia twice, which he should be winning, by the way, because he's a much bigger and more powerful guy than Chao Cia. Knocks him down twice, but then gets backed up in round 2 pretty badly, like all the time, and then gets knocked down in round 3 and also doesn't get counted as a knockdown. So both of them kind of counted their lucky stars that they won that fight. Because I watched that fight back twice, like 3 times. Watched it live, watched it back before I did a recap, and then I watched it back again just to remind myself so that I wasn't just waffling and talking about a lot of bullshit. What I saw was true. And yeah, dude, I still don't give them the fights. It's not because there's hatred towards them. If you watched our early podcasts, I've been singing songs about Ortikov and Akif for a long time because I felt that they're top talented and they're going to be a problem for the division. And when they did get high-level guys, they fought very questionable victories, in my opinion. It's not to throw shade against them or put salt on their victories. It's just that there's just too many asterisks to be questioned here, and that's the reality. So, yeah, at the end of the day, I think Ortikov is doing the right thing by, as long as you're making waves, I guess, on media, the brands are gonna, one championship's gonna recognize it, and they're gonna prioritize you. If they're quiet, Like Akif Guluzada, what why he's got such good fights is because he fights really good. He puts on amazing fights. But outside of that, the dude's quiet. He doesn't say anything. You don't really see him post stuff. He's a very quiet guy, and that's not going to favor him. They're gonna prioritize Ortikov over him in this division because Ortikov is making noise online. He's saying things that are questionable. He's calling out big names. He's being a nuisance in the media, and that's gonna be like, if I'm shouting, I'm gonna be like, this guy's knocking on the door here. He wants to fight. Fans are supporting him. Let's prioritize this guy. And he, on the other hand, he's still in that bracket of fans are not sure if they should get involved or not, if they should support him or not. They're not quite there on him. And yeah, that's kind of the reality. But the landscape is looking phenomenal for this division at the end of the day. The future looks very bright, and I'm excited to see Ortikov versus Rodtang, or Ortikov versus Akif, or Ortikov versus Nong-O. I really am stoked to see fights like that. But let me know in the comments, please, what you guys think about this. Should Aslamjon be disrespected by Rodtang's statement here, or is it just all horseplay? It's something that should be considered to be disrespectful from Rodtang. Let me know in the comments, please. What do you make of that? Of course, Nong-O is gonna have, excuse me, Rodtang's gonna have to be fighting Nong-O first before you can even think about who we should be getting next, and also at the stage of his career. But anyway, let me know. Speaking about Nong-O, this is a post that was posted also on Tetsuya's account. We saw it all over the internet over the weekend. Rodtang and Nong-O face to face, putting on like a little bit of a face off, holding up to their 173 fight in Japan, November 16th. And this post was actually taken just after they had their football match, or was it before their football match? Which was quite fun because, I mean, if you don't know, we did a video about this as well. Rodtang actually plays professional football in Thailand, league football, by the way. And Nong-O, I'm not too sure if he plays 11v11, but this game that they played together here was a 5v5 match, I think. And just nice to see, just after I was talking about Jojo Ghazali and his shenanigans, and Ortikov and all these guys becoming like, these bad guys, if you will, for the organization. We got two world champions facing off, playing football together, being friendly, but they're still going to throw down. And I think that's quite impressive. And I think that's also what Thai fans kind of like. Here's the video. I'll play it on screen for you guys. I put the sound off because there isn't really much to hear. Rodtang going in. It's a tackle on Nong-O. Boom! And then also gets a yellow card for it. It looks like these guys were playing fives here. Rodtang got a yellow card. Man, this is nice to see. It's nice to see that these fighters are doing this. They can put each other up, but still be good friends at the end of the day. Because that for me is more beautiful than hating someone and fighting them. You don't have to hate the person to fight them. You can. Because at the end of the day, people hate each other. After they fight each other, they become best friends. Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington hated each other. When they fought each other, at the end of the day, there was major respect between the two of them. So some fights don't end up like that. But I mean, you can go down the list. Lots of fights where all this hatred, and it makes for a good selling point. But after a while, when you see them touch gloves and become friends in the ring afterwards, makes you feel like as a fan, it makes you feel, was that all real at the end of the day? Hatred, was that all real, or was that just to sell the tickets? You know what I mean? So I think that's also why we find stuff like this, where we see fighters who are a little bit more friendly and they can still fight each other. That's all. That's really what it comes down to. You can, at the end of the day, as long as we show up in the ring and fight hard, you don't have to be against each other outside of it. You can still be homies. And yeah, at the end of the day, I'm looking forward to that fight between Rodtang and Nong-O. Early prediction, I'm gonna go Rodtang. I think it's a crazy fight. I think Nong-O looked phenomenal coming down. But I think Rodtang is probably still gonna get the job done here. Probably via decision. I'll be surprised if he actually stops Nong-O. But if he does, then there you go. But yeah, at the end of the day, looking forward to it. It will be live on our channel. We will be doing a watch along for it. It will be November 16th at 1173. Let's go. Now I'll keep it moving. Hey, next one. Nick Atkin. This is posted on his X account. I'll leave all the links in the description box so you guys can check it out. He also did an interview with Rui Botelho Go check that out on the YouTube page. It was a very nice interview. Rui Botelho was on the back of the beating Zhang Piaman. And yeah, he had a lot to say. To sum it up, he was pretty much saying he wants Prajanchai fight next, regardless of whether it's Muay Thai or kickboxing. He says wants Prajanchai next in one championship and says names don't win fights. This is what he had to say. I can beat Prajanchai in both kickboxing and Muay Thai. Names don't win fights. Nobody is unbeatable. Yes, it's Prajanchai, but I'm Rui Botelho. You saw Platozian get KO'd or knocked out by Superbon. Nobody expected that. It's the same year. Joseph Lasiri also beat Prajanchai. Yeah, yeah. Look, he's not wrong. Those are all facts, right? He's not wrong at all. Does he beat Prajanchai in both kickboxing and Muay Thai? Maybe kickboxing. I'm not so sure about Muay Thai though. When it comes to Muay Thai, I don't even think JDB would be able to beat Prajanchai in Muay Thai. I think it's a different fight for JDB. And I mean, you can see it fighting with friends. We up JDB's ass. We fucking love the guy. But realistically, Prajanchai is not the same fighter in Muay Thai versus kickboxing. He's completely different. Same different weapons, different output, different style, different pace, different fighter completely. And I've watched Rui Botelho. I've watched a lot of his fights. Dude has 2 wins in 7 fights in one championship. Realistically, I don't rate him that high. He talks a big game, but I watch his performances. Arguably, he lost against Zhang Paiman. That knockdown that he got, and this is what I was talking about yesterday in our episode. Go watch it back when I did my recap of over the weekend's fights. And one of the things I spoke about in that fight was scored in 10-8 rounds. How do we rework 10-8 rounds? Because um, it's a bit of an unfair thing. It's an unfair thing, right? It's not fair. Fighters beaten up badly, and then they will land a lucky shot which will knock someone down, right? And then all of a sudden they win that round. You can be losing the 3-minute round. You can be losing for 2 minutes and 59 seconds of that fight, of that round. The last second of that round, you can knock me down, and then you win the round. I personally feel like that needs to be remodeled. There has to be, because what happens next? Now I survive your knockdown, and we go into round 2 and round 3. You don't even lay a glove on me for 6 minutes, and I beat you the hell up for 6 minutes. I may not get the knockdown, but I'm rocking you, and you're out on your feet. Your eyes are rolling backwards, but you're still standing. You don't go down, and you manage to stay on your feet and actually recover enough to survive the fight. You win the fight because you had that knockdown for 1 split second of the first round. That's what happened in the fight with Zhang Paiman and Rui Botelho. That's literally what happened. You know, Botelho had the knockdown in the first round on Paiman, right? I'll give him that. He still, in my opinion, was getting beaten up in that first round. In round 2 and round 3, Paiman pretty much backed him up for the whole round, landed more significant blows. Botelho, what he did in that second and third round, he kept on clinching in a kickboxing fight, by the way, which you can't do if you didn't give him a yellow card for it. He kept clinching, and he forced it. He was moments where he even backed up. He knew he was on the back foot the whole time. And Paiman is closing him in, and he knows Paiman's going to explode now and throw a hard right hand or something. And all Botelho does is he backs up, ducks his head, goes for double underhooks, clinches. He did that for 2 rounds straight the whole time. And the judges gave him the fight. So even his win wasn't that impressive. He fought against JDB. JDB schooled him. JDB schooled him for 5 rounds? But JDB schooled him. It wasn't even a close-sided fight. There was not a single round that he won. His performances are not even that good. JDB and Prajanchai fought 2 very close fights. Well, okay, the second fight wasn't that close. JDB won every round, in my opinion. I know they gave Prajanchai the 4th round, but come on, let's be honest. It was a 5-0 shutout. So, yeah, because as much as Botelho is a good fighter, I don't think he's on that level. I really don't think he's on that level. Fuck it, if he must go to Muay Thai, even Alif will put him away. Or Boza might even put him away. You know what I mean? There's other guys in that division that would do. Sam A, at 41 years old, 42 years old, would put Rui Botelho away. I'm telling you now, he will, especially in Muay Thai. So what I want people just to remember here is that Prajanchai, just because now he lost against JDB, you also have to remember JDB is of the highest caliber today, right now. He's of the highest caliber when it comes to strawweight kickboxing. Like at the moment, I don't think he loses to anybody. He's unbeatable right now. And Prajanchai is the next best thing in comparison when it comes to kickboxing. But in Muay Thai, I'll call it right now. one of my favorite fighters to pick in Muay Thai for a strawweight division is Alif. Alif, I rate him really high. But realistically, Prajanchai is the actual king. That's the thing. He still has the title, right? And in terms of you break down their styles, break them down stylistically, who's going to beat Prajanchai when it comes to 4 ounce Muay Thai gloves? Who's going to beat him? I don't see anybody at this moment in time. I really don't. I think Alif will put up a good fight because he poses threats that Prajanchai hasn't seen in the sense of height, speed, range, sticky for him. But if there's anyone that can get around it, it's a man who's fought nearly 500 fucking fights in Prajanchai. People mustn't forget because he lost now, he's like a has been or is this. He's still young. He's only 30 years old. He's actually in his prime state. He just fought another guy who's also in his prime state in JDB. You know what I mean? So yeah, Rui Botelho, as much as he's calling his shot, I think he's doing the right thing. I think he's doing the right thing when he gets the media, when he gets the mic, he's making the right calls. But we also can't forget the performances. He arguably lost against Zhang Paiman, who's only 21 years old, by the way. Very young champion in Zhang Paiman. Right? He's calling his shot against much more experienced fighters, against fighters like Prajanchai. Why don't you call him JDB? Why do you want to fight Prajanchai? Prajanchai is probably going to fight against Alif in December, right? JDB doesn't have an opponent to defend his kickboxing title, which he should, by the way. Even though I think, in my opinion, maybe he should move on to fighting Muay Thai strictly because there aren't many strawweight kickboxers that can go up against him. A lot of the strawweight kickboxers are technically the Muay Thai guys anyway. They're just coming over. So I think that JDB, if he defends his title against maybe another guy, maybe like another. Maybe if he gets Rui Botelho then I would say on once beating him, move down to 4 ounce gloves and go for the title in Muay Thai instead. But if I'm Rui Botelho right now, I say give me Prajanchai. Never, excuse me, give me JDB. You don't need to fight against Prajanchai. You don't need to. That's not going to guarantee you anything. The next best shot he can get is JDB. He's got the title. He needs to have a defense. There's a guy. There's a guy right there. Let's get the defense going. You know? Sorry about that background noise. I would say let's go up against JDB, bro. If you really want to make such a big noise, there's a title shot right there. Don't call for someone who just took quite a bit of a beating. Realistically, Prajanchai took a beating against JDB. His legs are all kinds of swollen and fucked up. He's gonna take some time to recover. And if Chauti's talking about Prajanchai versus Alif in December at 1174 in Malaysia, I don't know if he's going to recover in time, right? That's literally 2.5 months away from now. I don't know if he recovers in time for that fight. That means Botelho, if he wants to be active, maybe he should leave Prajanchai out of it. If you want to make a title run, call out Alif or maybe call out Barboza. Toil and Tet is also there in Muay Thai. Or if you really want a title shot, there's JDB for the Muay Thai, for the strawweight kickboxing title. Call out JDB. Let's see you get the run back against him. How about that? You know what I mean? But that's just my opinion. And I only feel so strongly about this because I wasn't impressed with the fight against Zhang Paiman. His first fight against Zhang Paiman was better. It was more of a shutout, more of a dominant win in comparison to what he did in the second fight. You know what I'm saying? And also the win, the record at the moment is not that good. It's not that good. It was his second win. I think it was his second win. Let me just remind myself here. His record is not that smart. Let's have a look. Rui Botelho. And I'm also not a fan of his fight style. He plays this runaway game. He runs away. He clinches a lot. He breaks the rules. He clinches a lot. That doesn't make for a good fight. It doesn't make for a good fight style. 30 years old. Okay, let's look at that. 7 losses, 4 wins. Is this the man that deserves a title shot? Let's just be real about this for a second. Let me know in the comments. Keep it moving. Let's go. We go. Okay, so we also had some announcements over the last week, 2 weeks. There's been posts coming out from One Championship about Fight Night 1, One Fight Night 37, which will be taking place 5th of December on Prime Video, and finally we got the fight of Fabricio Andrade. This is his first fight in a little over a year now, which is a little bit sad because he's such a high level fighter and he's young still and he's top class, but we only see him fight once a year, and I think that's disappointing. And he has expressed his feelings about this once before, where they spoke to him about the UFC, and he feels like he can actually fight well in the UFC, and then he also expressed about the inactivity because his last few opponents has been against the guys he's beaten already. So it's like it needs newer guys, and here we go. Up steps Orgel Baturku from Mongolia, and yeah, he deserves the fight. He's undefeated, um, and he's been on a very good win streak at the moment. So yeah, I think he deserves the fight. We'll obviously give you a nice preview for this one when closer to the time. But if I can give you an early prediction on this one, I think Fabricio Andrade wins this fight purely because Ink Orgel Baturku, his strengths are wrestling and submissions, right? But that's also where Andrade is also black belt jiu-jitsu, good wrestling, good submission game. And he's also taller, slightly bigger than Baturku. Baturku is very muscle bound, but he's a short, stocky guy. And Andrade is quite a big 155, 145. Nice muscular speed, great kickboxer, good body work, and I think he's going to keep Baturku at range. I don't think Baturku's going to be able to take him down. And if he does, he'll probably get a first round takedown, but that's as much as he will get in this fight. I think people need to understand that Andrade is actually high level caliber in terms of global MMA. He's so good that he can actually put up a good fight against the top five, maybe even the top 10 of the 145-pound division in UFC. For real. I really think he can. I know it says bantamweight on screen, but the bantamweight in one championship is 145 pounds. So, yeah, I think this is going to be a one-sided affair. As much as I'm hyped for Ank Orgel to get the shot, I think Andrade is just going to shut him out. Possibly get it a second round finish, a TKO or a sub. Because I watched Baturku's fights though, and apart from the wrestling, like what else can he really do? And he's got good wrestling. He's strong at it, but that's the thing. The guys that he's fought in the past don't have the same wrestling pedigree, right? Whereas Andrade has got the same wrestling pedigree, if not more dangerous, because he's got the jiu-jitsu as well. And then on top of that, he's the taller fighter, he's the faster fighter, and he's the superior striker. So the more I look at it, it's like there's a lot of things that's going against Baturku. There's a lot more advantages for Andrade, and I think he's probably going to get the job done here. And I see a finish for Andrade. Let's keep it moving. Sticking with the same fight card, Fight Night 38, is another announcement. We have a jiu-jitsu fight, flyweight submission grappling for the vacant title. We have the Diogo Baby Shark Reese taking on the Japanese superstar in Daiki Yunekura. Yunekura for the vacant flyweight title. To be honest with you, I'm not that stoked for the fight. I think the jiu-jitsu scene it kind of lost its spice in one championship since the Rutello twins have moved away from it, and Mikey Musimesi has gone out and went to a different organization. Look, it is world champions. It's going to attract a lot of views. Hopefully, it will be exciting matchups. But if we're being completely honest, since Caden and Ty stopped doing jiu-jitsu, we haven't really had that many exciting jiu-jitsu matchups. A lot of stalling, a lot of stalemating, not a lot of submissions, and people aren't really getting all hyped for it. So yeah, it doesn't really spark that much confidence in me for the fight. But if you have an IDCC world champion, you know, it should be something wonderful to watch. So hopefully it will live up to the hype. Because if looking based on the statistics and the analysis on Daiki, he's a top Japanese jiu-jitsu practitioner. So yeah, this should make for a really world-class jiu-jitsu match. So let's go, and it's for a title. Super hype, super hype. Surprised that fight's not actually on the 173 card. Very surprised, considering that he's a Japanese athlete fighting, you know. But sticking with the same fight card, we have Liam Hitman Harrison coming out of retirement to take on Shinji Suzuki. And I think Suzuki has fought in one championship before. I can't really remember what his performances were like. Let me just see. Shinji Suzuki. But anyway, he's fighting Liam Harrison. It's his bantamweight kickboxing. So stoked to see Liam Harrison fight again. personally feel like he is a better fighter in Muay Thai, but he's also very aggressive in kickboxing. It's going to be a fight of two legends. Yeah, you see there, he fought Jake Peacock. That's what happened. He lost that fight at 117-1. So Black also KO'd him. So we might see the same thing here. We might see the Madison KO Suzuki, but it's Battle of the Legends, Battle of the Old Dog. So it should make for very much a all-out brawl between two legends. So let's go. Give me your thoughts about that matchup. Um, this is a fight I'm very intrigued to watch because what's his name? Kifu's taking on Zabrilov, who's a young undefeated fighter from Uzbekistan, mistaken, Kazakhstan. But what I'm finding interested about the fight is I think this could be a fight where Zabril might lose his defeated streak. However, if he doesn't make weight again, that's going to be 3 times in a row that he doesn't make weight. In my opinion, he shouldn't even get a contract, shouldn't even be part of the organization. Just keep happening because it's like the more you do that, the more he's not going to be able to actually get anywhere in the organization. He's not going to be able to get paid. Number one, he can't. If he wins, he can't get his full purse. He can't climb the rankings. He can't guarantee a title fight. I don't know if that's going to happen for him if he if he keeps missing weight. So, what I'm intrigued for this matchup is, firstly, it's a fight I can see him losing, and secondly, I'm more keen to see what does he look like on weigh-in day. That's my biggest thing because that's where he's from Turkey. He's Turkish. Sorry. Um, that's where, in my opinion, where he always loses. And then he still gets the fight in catch weight, but then he's like weight pulling everybody. He's like significantly bigger than everyone. And I'm like, you see, and he also gets a lot of cans. So I think Petit Kifu is a massive step up in opponent, in skill level of opponent. And I think this is a fight where he could actually lose this fight, both on the scale again and possibly in the ring as well. So yeah, let's see. Give me your thoughts on that one, guys. Again, I will do a much more detailed breakdown of this fight when we're closer to the date. And then lastly on the same fight card, Jiu-Jitsu legends, we have Marcelo Garcia taking on Aussie icon in Lachlan Giles lightweight submission grappling. All I can say from you guys, it's according to the promotion, high level legendary fighters, throwback kind of fight, and I think it's just one for the fans more than it is for um, championship fights, if you will. Can't say that I'm super stoked to watch it, but yeah, why not? Eh, it's on a fight card that does have some other good fights, so yeah, I will be. Actually, no, I won't be able to watch this fight. Now that I remember, after December, I think I actually will be. I don't think I'll be available for this one. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna be away for this one. Okay, but I will catch you guys on the recap. But I will release a preview for it so you can get your parlays in for the time. But okay, keeping it moving. We are. What is this? Oh yeah. Actually, let's just do this. Go to the story. So I saw some posts on Tetsuya's account speaking highly of Yodkhunpon, obviously K1 champion, legendary fighter, knocking everybody out. People are speaking highly of him with his punching power. I've seen some tape. He does look very good. His boxing is phenomenal. He's making his one championship debut in 4-ounce gloves at the end of October, 31st of October, Halloween. And he's taking on Antonio Martinez. If my memory serves me well, Antonio Martinez is also making his debut. I need to get some more depth information about Antonio Martinez. But yeah, what can I say? I'm 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 more stoked to see the debut of Yodkhunpon just because of the hype that he's getting. Right, there's a lot of hype around this guy, and yeah, let's see what he's all about. Let's see what he's all about, especially in 4-ounce gloves because what's his name? Kunsuek didn't have a very good debut. ETT didn't have a very good debut. And, like these are guys who came into the organization with a ton of hype, and it wasn't like the most amazing debut fight. So let's see what could end that sort of curse, if you will. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you guys think about this fight, and what do you make of the debut of Yodkhunpon? For now, I'll keep it moving. Okay, just want to talk a little bit about the 173 fight card, which will be taking place 16th of November. And look at this fight card, guys. Just look at this fight card. Also, I think the profile picture of Numsurin is incorrect. I don't think that is him. That's not Numsurin. It's a different fighter. I forgot his name now, but that's not him. But anyway, Super One No Iri, we all know that. Big one, big fight. Featherweight kickboxing championship. Can't wait for that one. I think it's going to be hella explosive. Agrat Malikan rematch, heavyweight championship. I think Malikan's probably going to win this one. Nong-O Rodtang, I spoke about earlier, flyweight Muay Thai, the vacant title. Naraka Yoshinari versus Numsurin for the atomweight Muay Thai championship. That's going to be a hella insane fight. Christian Lee versus Rusulov, Alikhbek Rusulov. This is going to be the second time they're fighting. Obviously, the first fight ended because of an eye poke, devastating eye poke. This is the rematch. Hopefully, nothing bad happens here. Billanan versus Jonathan Haggerty, bantamweight Muay Thai title. That's going to be sick. Can't wait for that. Hopefully, all these guys obviously make weight. That's your title fights. And then another title fight is Yuya Wakamatsu versus Joshua Pacquiao. In my opinion, Joshua didn't have to take this fight, but he is. And yeah, let's see what he does in the flyweight division. Marat Grigorian taking on Rukia Anpo. I've been looking at the type of this guy's training, watching their training matches, their boxing drills. And I'm not going to lie, Anpo doesn't look as fluid as Grigorian. You know, he doesn't. And Gagurian looks like he's fired up for this fight. He looks like he's going to go and piece up Anpo. He's in Japan. Well, let's see what happens here. But Marat Gagurian is a straight up assassin. I want people to remember that. He's an assassin of the highest note. He's top tier, top 5 featherweight kickboxers in the world right now. So I think Anpo got his hands full here. Takeru versus Dennis Puric, flyweight kickboxing, beautiful fight. Arguably a layup for Takeru, but also not, considering that Dennis Puric is top tier, fought the title multiple times. The only thing that's counting against him is his age, but I mean, still going to be a great fight anyway. He still shows up quite hard. Yuki Yoza versus Superlek, battle of the kicking machines. The winner here will be the true kicking machine. He could book their ticket against a fight against Jonathan Haggerty for the kickboxing world title. Moving on, again, just want you guys to understand here that all these fights you see here from Superbon, right all the way through to Wei Rui, that's all champions. All of them. Right? Superbon, No Iri, Bagrag, Malikan, Rodtang, Nong-O, Nadaka. Okay, not so much Numsurin. This is his first title fight. Christian Lee, Alikhbek Rasulov, Anan, Agadi, Wakamatsu, Pacquiao, Gregorian, Anpo, Takeru, Puric, Yukiyosa, Superlek, Stam Fertex, Kana Marimoto, Akimoto, and Wei Rui. Those are all champions, and they're all fighting each other. That's just, I want you to just let that sink in for a second, right? That's, what was that? That's 10 fights, no? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 fights. The top 11 fights in this fight card are all champion fights. They may not be championship fights, but they're all champions and former champions fighting each other. That is mad. This is a like probably the biggest fight card we're gonna get all year. Period. The biggest fight card we'll get all year. Suakim versus Jacob Peacock. That's gonna be a good fight to watch as well. I think Suakim might get the shot into the stick here in this one. Tako Huchi taking on Erdogan. That's gonna be a good fight as well. He with MMA. Shamil Erdogan going up in weight for this fight. Very good fight. I think he's gonna probably get the job done there as well. Hopefully, I actually want Tako Huchi to win, but I think he might get the shot into the stick there as well. Then we have Bodoni taking on Lovato Jr. middleweight grappling. Can't say that I'm excited about that, but okay, we have it anyway. Neither of these guys are Japanese, so I don't know why they're on this fight card. Which is why I said the Baby Shark Reese fight against what's his name, Japanese guy. That should have made better sense for this fight here, you know, instead of having Bondi and Lovato. And then Itsuki Hirata taking on Ritu Pogat. Women's atomweight MMA. We're going to see the return, well, not the return. Hirata fought a couple of weeks, a month ago, and got herself back into the win column. Ritu Pogat definitely is desperate for a win since winning the atomweight grappling Grand Prix. MMA Grand Prix. Since winning that, she hasn't won anything. She's just been losing. So, yeah, good to see her back. I think it's going to be a fair fight. This is one fight I was going to say a layup for Hirata, but I think Ritu Pogat can actually give her some problems. And what I really wanted to talk about was that this is actually not the final fight of the night, the final fight of the fight card. there's an announcement about 17 fights, and there's only 16 fights on screen right now. Zoom out, so you can see. That's only 16 fights. There's one more fight to be placed on this fight card. Who would that be? One fighter I don't see on this fight card, or there's two. I don't see Shimon Yoshinari. I don't see you, and both of them are in training camps. So we could see them being added. One of them being added to this fight card. In my opinion, I would take out one Donny and Lovato fight. Don't need that fight there. We can bring on maybe you against I mean, someone in the flyweight kickboxing division, maybe even against Taiki Naito. Um, and then if not, the Shimon Yoshinari, he could be added as well. He could get someone like another flyweight guy, but preferably in Muay Thai. He beat Nontachai already, so maybe not him. There's Dayakaev. I think Dayakaev has got a fight. Akif just won against Jao CI. I don't think he would want to take the fight. Might be too soon for him because he looked like he beat up his hand. Ortikov looks fresh. That would be a good fight for him, especially if he wants to make a run for a title run. I would say take on someone like Yoshinari, who I think is super deadly. And the winner there could really make an argument for a title run against either Nong-O or Rodtang. But what I'm trying to say is, it's going to be one more fight added to this fight card, and then the most likely will be Shimon Yoshinari or Hugh. But okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is my time. Give me your thoughts in the comments about these fights and these news updates. Like I said, I will drop all of these links to the stories in our description box. You can go check it out for yourself as well at Tetsuya, Nick Atkin, and the One Championship X pages. But okay, that is my time. What you can expect for the remainder of the week is a UFC Fight Night preview tomorrow, along with some of the new UFC fight updates that came out now yesterday. And then what you can get also is a nice preview for One Friday Fights 128, along with a live watch along of One Friday Fights 128. And that will be for the rest of the week. So for myself and the Fighting with Friends team, please have yourself a fantastic week ahead. And we will catch you in the next one. Cheers, everybody.